I'm Richard Lewis reporting for cadred.org, and I'm here with an old friend who's hit the big time, but he's still got time for little guys like me. Well, not so little, but
yeah,
you know
big
what I mean.
boys.
Yeah.
The big boys.
It is, of course, qu1ksh0t, who's now the face of the analyst desk for League of Legends and Riot. I want to take you back in time to when you were a COD 4 player, because people probably don't know this. I think a lot of the viewers in League of Legends won't know this. So, you know, you used to be an FPS gamer like all the rest of us. You know, you started out pretty small.
Yeah, well, very small. I mean, South African originally, so I was playing in South African League. Before even Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 4, I actually played Battlefield 2 competitively. That was my very first game. There's a South African LAN called Rage, really awesome gaming expo, and it's our big event. It's a 2,000-man LAN, happens every year in October. Attended one with Battlefield 2, and the year Call of Duty 4 came out, I just fell in love with it. So started playing. I'm a bit of an ADD gamer. I like to jam. I'm very twitchy, and it just worked. It fit in my playstyle, and I was pretty good at it. So made a team together. This is now 2007, 2008. Yeah. So I got a team together, started playing. We were under the tags BFB, Big Fat Bastards.
I could have gotten that team.
Yeah, we didn't take ourselves too seriously. We played for fun, and we happened to be good at the game as well. And within a period of about 6 months, we shot to sort of top 3 contender. And we were a team that we always failed online. Like, we'd always qualify for events, but we'd be 4th to 8th in online qualifiers. And at LANs, grand final. It was just everything. We were a LAN team, get together, have a few pints, and you know, the boys just click, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know.
So yeah, year after year was in the finals. I managed to travel to DreamHack after winning a tournament, attended Antwerp Esports Festival where I met yourself for the first time.
Yeah, and that was we'll talk more about that in a second, I think.
Yeah, it was a memorable experience, let's put it that way. Got to play against, you know, Dignitas, Fnatic, the big boys of COD 4 at the time.
Yeah, but like what people don't probably know about that story was you guys totally funded yourselves, didn't you? I mean, like
We got the sponsorship locally, yeah.
Yeah, what happened for us was Tech9, right? This little, well, maybe not so little, but you know, the Call of Duty site. I got put on the coverage of it, and we were told these South Africans are coming. They're going to kill everyone. They're fucking amazing, and they're paying for themselves to come over. They're that confident about winning. So that was like the shit we got spun. Yeah,
it didn't pan out quite as well as we would like. What actually happened is there was a team, or there was a group of players in SA. It was 2 particular guys, a support and an AK at the time, who managed to get a sponsor for AEF, and they approached me and said, "Look, Trev, we want you to be the captain of the team. You're the caller for BFB, and you know, you lead squads and whatnot. So we're going to be the 2 on the team. You're going to be the captain, and you get to pick 2 more." So I got to pick 2 more players. We formed this mixed team probably about 6 weeks before the event, and we did okay, and we were proud of our performance, but we weren't a full team. You know, if we managed to get across with actually our full team, I think we would have done a bit better. But yeah, we were happy with it. We got to play during scrims at Dignitas. Let me just say that. Let me think. Who was the scope? It was Blackman at the time.
Yeah, Blackman was.
Our scope. His nickname was Zer. Let's just say he gave him a new one. Let's put it politely. I got the screenshots to prove it.
Right, and then. You kind of disappeared a little bit from COD 4. I mean, like, the scene was petering out anyway.
Yeah, this was 2010. I mean, it was the last year of Call of Duty 4. Yeah. I actually left South Africa as well, so left the country. And when I left, I was looking for a new game to play. I picked up League. It was comfortable. It was fun to get into. It was brainless. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Got into it and I relaxed.
But did you pick up League of Legends? Okay, this is the question. This is the $20 million question. Did you pick it up knowing it was going to be big? Because loads of people, I know for a fact, jumped into League of Legends. They were going, it's going to be the big thing, Rich. It's going to be big. We're going to make a shit ton of money if we start doing it.
My brother. It's simple. Shout out to my brother. His nickname's Norseman. He introduced me. He was playing at the time. He was addicted to it. He moved to League from WoW. And he just said, look, try it. And he taught me the basics. He taught me lane meta. He taught me how we played. I'd never played any MOBA before that at all. I had no MOBA experience. My brother told me to play. I played with him. And I still remember watching like pre-season 1 tournaments. And what I did to determine which champions I was going to buy is the ones that were banned more than 3 times in a day. I just sat and I said, well, if the pros are banning these guys, that's who I want to play. And it was just the competitive natures.
Yeah,
so I had no idea about it. I didn't know it was going to be big. I literally just played because my younger brother was in it, and I got hooked.
Yeah. So, what is it that hooks you into the game? Let's just we'll do the plug and talk about how awesome League is, because I'm a fan as well. I actually fucking play it. It's so bad at my age, like to play any game. I think.
Sound so guilty for saying.
No, it's like you know when you have those moments where you catch yourself doing something ridiculous, like I've shoutcasted games from home in my pants and stuff, and you have that moment. It's like an out of body experience where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And I think that's what I get pissed off. I slam the desk down, fucking feeder, and in bronze, man. What the fuck?
It's just the game. It really translates well. It's fairly easy to pick up and get involved in, and the mechanics, they're less involved than a couple of other MOBAs out there. You know, the depth of it, so to speak. So it allows you as a player to pick it up, and even after a couple of games, to, you know, start picking up doubles and triple kills and go, this shit's pretty cool. Like, you know, it's fun. And the more you play it, the more involved you go. It's got this really weird curve where it's got a fairly simple initial curve. Right. Then it gets difficult, and then it gets insanely difficult. And because of the fact that you know, gap is fairly large, it's the reason the player base is so big and why everybody jams it, you know?
So basically, to describe it, you would say it's simple to learn,
difficult to master.
Difficult to master,
That's it.
but then super difficult to go pro.
Correct. No, I definitely, because the problem is the amount of intricacies as well. There's a lot more unique stuff to each of the different champions, and something that Riot's doing now is almost every new champion's got like a brand new mechanic. That's the first time it's been heard of. It hasn't interacted with anything else because it's the first time it's there. So, you know, it's ever evolving. I think in comparison to all the other MOBAs out there, there's more new content more frequently, which means you as a player need to keep adapting, which is something the Call of Duty scene will know because they get a new game every year. Pet peeve. But yeah, you know, a lot of the other MOBAs are a little bit more stagnant, and once you've learned it, there's nothing more to learn. It's you know, so it's just a bit different.
So you ended up, how did you end up, I mean, being the fucking analysis guy? Because first time I saw you, I think it was an MLG one night thing. I was watching you, I think you were with D-Man. And I was actually fucking blown away, because this is a guy that I've had a few beers with, played Call of Duty 4, seen him, you know, party animal, absolute legend. And you were talking sense, and you knew the game inside out. And I was like, this guy's going to be a big fucking star. He is going to make it.
It was a meteoric rise. It's been 10 months. My very first shoutcast ever, I did an all bottom, all random Dominion Cup for ESL, right? I, hand on my heart, that was the very first thing that I ever shoutcasted, a start to finish cup with like 13 teams in Dominion. And it all came about because of people that I worked with. Long story short, I was in Berlin. I was working as a community manager for a browser game. And one of the girls that I worked with, her boyfriend was involved in esports and ran a company and said, look, I want to do league stuff. So I'd met him through some work events, and he went, Trev, look, you talk a lot of shite, and you like League of Legends. And he said, you know, have you ever thought about becoming a shoutcaster? And so the more I spoke to him, the more I said, okay, well, there's some reason for this. I've got a business background, so I went, right, let's talk paper, let's get some contracts drawn up. And he responded, so I managed to get a contract in place, got involved within a couple of months. May 2011 was my very first shoutcast. Within about 3 or 4 months, I had done IPL 5 qualifiers, I did DreamHack Winter qualifiers online, I did MLG qualifiers, and then MLG said, look, we want to fly to New York. Flew to New York. By November, I did DreamHack Winter. And in January, I got hired by Riot to be, originally I was hired as a community position to work with that and interact, and that has evolved into my shoutcasting profession right now.
One of the things I like about you is, and there's many things, but one of the things I do like about you is, since you've got this position, you're one of the few red posters that I see on the forums regularly. Like, you know, I can't remember what it was, there was some mad thing, you know, the people demanding Riot points for bullshit reasons or whatever, you know, but it was a mad long thread, and you were the only guy in there like saying, look, we're aware of it in Dublin, man, we're gonna sort this out. And you were the guy who ponied up, and I got an inkling that you actually people probably would have preferred that you didn't, because in a way you went out there and you said what everyone wanted a Riot guy to say, and you were the man and you stood up. So talk about that and you're interacting with the community stuff. Okay, so
there's two different things. First of all, on a personal level, it doesn't matter how many people I cast to, it doesn't matter where I am. At the end of the day, I love esports, I love gaming, so I'm going to talk to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what it is. So that's where that situation came in. I know what it's like being on the receiving end, being a player, and all you want to do is play. You don't care which company it is, you don't care which game it is, you just want to play. So, you know, it spoke to me personally, and that's why I wanted to get involved. In terms of the company wanting to say something, because it's part of an overall problem that we've actually got as a company, you know, a lot of EU West players feel that Riot ignores them and it's like a second-class citizen thing. I joined the company, I'm very, very new, and there has been a lot of talks leading up to like, well, how do we deal with this? You know, how do we as a company, because, you know, it's going to sound like a marketing plug, but, you know, Riot actually cares about their players, and they want to be customer focused and gamer focused. How do we do it? And I pretty much went, look, guys, I'm looking into it, I'll find out. because I didn't know about the overarching stuff that was going on in the background. So it wasn't really a matter of like, look, Trev, don't get involved. It was more just like, this kind of falls into the problems that we've been having, and steps are being made. You know, the Dublin office is becoming more autonomous. At the moment, there's about 80 people in there, and for the majority, it's like player support. So in terms of management, community, marketing, PR, we just don't have the people there. But we're in the process of sorting that out, getting people in Dublin that have the ability to respond, and also to say, hey, look, we want to give X, Y, Z, we want to do this, we apologize, because at the moment, the decision-making team is still, you know, very much in LA.
Yeah. So, here you are, IEM, all right? I think it's been...
Let me just give a quick anecdote.
Okay.
1 year ago, Intellectually Master CeBIT, leading up to my first cast, this was my first event I actually attended. I was here as a spectator. I brought my South African flag. Teams was... I'm a mad FPS fan. I got Khan to sign my flag after being dominated in, I think, the quarterfinal. I think they went down like 16-3. The last thing he wanted to do was deal with a fanboy. Yeah. I lied to him. I'm like, look, I flew here from South Africa. I came from Berlin. I said, I'm such a fan. I know it's hard. Please, can you get the guys to sign my flag? You know, because I've been such a fan. And they did. Within 1 year, I went from being a fanboy and lying to my heroes to casting the World Championships.
It is a great story.
I'm stoked.
So you're here at IEM. I mean, well, right. Because LCS exists now, and it's fucking, you know, it's awesome. It's, you know, well, you remember CGS. I remember CGS. It was easy to be skeptical when it come along, but I think LCS has really done what CGS should have, if you like.
Correct.
For one game, but still, you know, the game that they need to spot, 'cause it's their game. Yeah. And it's been brilliant. Is there not a danger that events like this, as awesome as they are, might become a bit of a sideshow to LCS?
It's not even a danger. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a fact. You know what the eventual plan is to actually develop events like this to lead into the LCS. Right. You know, we've got something called the Challenger Series. The idea is to develop it that you have a professional series and you have an emerging professional series as well.
I like the way you steered away from the word amateur there.
Yeah, it's the truth though. But I mean, look, if you want to go for that way, you go professional, you have amateurs. Yeah. Teams that are not contracted and not paid to do this on a professional basis, right? The 8 teams in LCS are. The teams playing this tournament for the most part are not. Right? It's a fact. But until you actually nurture both scenes and you do so from a business perspective, it's never going to work. Yeah. One of the things competitive esports has always done is said, well, we have these pros. They're not contracted. They don't earn enough money full-time to do this, the majority of them. But we still want to milk it. We still want to make money from marketing, make money from advertising. Here we've got a situation where we can say, well, we still want to do that. We still want to have the marketing and you know, the development in the background. But we also want to have the players looked after. And if we can start to nurture this development and this growth, I think it's going to be better. And it's like you were saying, in comparison to the CGS, there's a little bit more understanding of their market. Yeah. The people that are going to tune in, because let's be honest, the people CGS was made for were not the people that were playing and wanting to watch.
No, of course not. So, here you are, rocking it big for Riot. I mean, what plans do you kind of have? I mean, like to kind of... Because I mean, like, do you want to move from the analysis desk into the big desk? I mean, like, how does it work? What do you aim to do?
Let's be fair. In terms of the LCS, the League of Legends Championship Series, I am on the caster desk.
That is true.
I am running there. Here at IEM, the two big boys, the two heavyweights, Joe and D-Man, they've been. What was the term they used? Long-term partners was the term that was in the press release, if I return correctly. You know, this is Carmack. Carmack wants his boys. It's the two guys that really elevated League. I mean, even 3 years ago, this was almost a sideshow. Now it's the main show. Yeah. And, you know, Joe and Demon have been there from the start. So for the IEM, I am on the analysis desk along with Panky and Jarrett Kale. We've brought him in and have some fun. But during LCS, which is arguably more exciting. That's where I'm on the desk. You know, I get to bring my South Africanisms. I get to add the volume and the excitement.
And do clear that up. This isn't a fake accent. Like.
Thank you. Yes, I am South African. I don't put this on. I'm not Australian, nor am I New Zealander. Okay, I'm not a Kiwi. The All Blacks suck. Boca all the way. And yeah, born and raised South African. That's where the voice comes from.
And like I said, we're not going to talk about Pistorius. We're not going to.
You had to bring it up.
I know, but I just no. You made me mischievous. Now that the camera is on, I don't.
Low blow, okay, so, low blow.
Man, we want justice to be served. That's that's all everyone wants. Right, we'll leave that well alone. Right, no, I've even forgotten what the last question was. I had a good plan. Right, to style it out. But yeah, right, okay. Here's the last question. Given that League of Legends, you know, is becoming the big deal in esports? Is okay. It is the big deal in esports. Well, what happens if it gets to the point where it pushes all the other esports out? And you know, your story's important in that because you came from Call of Duty, you came from lesser titles, I came from lesser titles. Here I am interviewing.
Let's be honest. FPS has been killed by MOBA.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
End of story. I mean, I loved watching Quake. I was terrible at it, but I really got to enjoy it. And you know, Quake died because of team-based FPS. Team-based FPS died because of MOBA. Adapt or survive. So it's in the short term a bit scary because a lot of other games might fall by the wayside. But as I'm sure you've been noticing, World of Tanks, for example, there are other titles, there are other developers going, hey, if we actually pay attention to our title and to this audience, we can expand. So I think the fact that Riot's putting so much time and energy into it means that other titles, other producers are going to put more effort in. And for esports as an industry, until the big companies and the big names buy in, it's never going to grow bigger than your uncle's backyard land. So in the long term, I actually think it's good, but it does make the short term turbulent, let's put it that way, as we get there.
And we wouldn't have it any other way. Look, man, I'm going to wrap this interview up and let you go back. Perhaps, just before we go, what's it like bunking with D-Man, by the way? Is it cool?
And I get to be the big spoon, but other than that, it's okay.
I had to ask about D-Man's been looming around drinking beer. This guy is an absolute legend. I've known him a long time. Honestly, support what he does because I'm just made up to see someone, you know, from the FPS community on the big stage. Absolute legend. So support qu1ksh0t, support everything that they do. We're going to have more interviews like this one from here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships Finals in Hanover. Thanks for all the League of Legends fans out there. Peace.